The following is a presentation of TFNN. Time to talk about your health. Living a primal lifestyle.
You know, we have Tom from Tampa on the phone. Hey, Tom. Good morning. It's bright and early now, huh?
Hey, Paige. Good. How you guys doing, Nico?
Doing great.
Good. Hey, your newsletter's outstanding, man. I'm telling you, man, it is outstanding. And so is the Primal Edge. I love that stuff. I'd never be without it. I mean, I've been on it now 3-4 months, man. I mean, it's just, I can't get over how good I feel.
Primal Edge is, people are raving about it. People who are trying it, they know because you can feel it.
Would not be without it.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now your hosts, Nico Haan and Paige Clarke.
Good morning. I'm Nico Haan, and welcome to Living a Primal Lifestyle, where we explore a return to a more balanced and natural wild world.
To recover our natural health and regain our rights and freedoms. Good morning. I'm Paige Clarke.
And it's a beautiful morning in downtown Clearwater, 75 degrees and sunny and humid, and summer is here.
That's right. And make sure you subscribe to our Health Signals newsletter. We have information, news you can use. Comes out twice a month. $10
And it's
a
supposed
month.
to be out today, actually, but
Hey, you've been on vacation. We can't wait to hear about
I'm
it.
formulating it. It's going to take me all week, so I'm going to put it out next Tuesday, and a lot of it's going to be about the trip and what we're going to be talking about today.
Very good.
But, things, I'm
Pick
back.
up some of our
That's the-
Primal Edge, our daily nutrition that has 310 cell-ready nutrients powered by nature's miracle molecule,
That's right.
fulvic and humic acids, which help get the good stuff in.
And the bad stuff out. We don't want any bad stuff in there. That's
And
for
if
sure.
you're up and at it, give us a call at 877-927-6648. Nico, we're so glad to have you back.
Well, thank you
We
very
missed
much. I'm glad to be back. It was just a fabulous vacation. I'm just going to go over the whole thing for you and just tell you what I did. And
I want to hear
yeah,
it.
we left on Wednesday, a week ago Wednesday, I guess it was. Early in the morning, about 5 in the morning, we took off to get out of town before the traffic hit. And we drove all the way to St. Louis on that one thing. So about maybe 7 o'clock at night, we arrived in St. Louis, had a little dinner, went to sleep, and hit the road again. And the next day, we stopped in Colorado, right at the just inside the border, about 100 miles, so another 1,000 miles.
Yeah, you made
They're
some
long
good time.
trips, really good time. Nobody on the road. And it was kind of interesting because the heat was definitely in, but we went through Kansas, and all of a sudden everything dropped. It was like 82 degrees in Kansas for like about 4 hours, and then it went back up, and by the time we got to Denver the next day, it was in the 90s there.
Mm-hmm.
But then we stayed at a nice hotel there, the Marriott Tech Center, which is where the wedding was, close by, actually. That's where everybody was staying, and got to meet a lot of relatives that, this is on Ellen's side, and one of her cousins, I think it was a second cousin's daughter, was getting married. I had met her before when we went to Denver about a decade ago. And just really good to see people we haven't seen, for some of them we've seen in the last 3 or 4 years, but a lot of them we hadn't seen for 10 years.
Oh,
So
that's
it was really
fantastic.
cool. And
Yeah.
Of course, you see the older ones getting older and the younger ones being more mature and taking on a little bit more. Of course, education is there for the really young ones, but probably 150 people, that
Nice.
all relatives.
So it was family event as well as
Going to
family
see.
adventure for you two.
Yeah, so after we stayed there, let's see, we got there Friday, we did Saturday and Sunday. Sunday was the wedding, beautiful wedding. And, they usually have a couple dance. They made up this dance for themselves, kind of like the modern break dancing type of, whatever you call it. I don't know exactly what they call it all, but it was just a choreographed number that they both did.
That they
right on
did
the dance.
together.
They did together, and it was really cool. So that was good. And they have such things as we used to have in the family, what we called a cousin's song. So we made up a song. We changed the words to match the wedding tone, but it was to a song, whatever, you make up some song, could be Humpty Dumpty on the Wall or whatever, and they did a special song, and that's always cute too. But really good to see the relatives, and then we were off. And
And then after that, you were on your own adventure.
Yes, then we went to Eagle, Colorado to meet Colorado Bigfoot, Mark Abel.
All right. Yes, it's been exciting to watch your
And
Facebook.
Mark's such a unique guy. We met him that morning for breakfast, and then Ellen took my car back to the hotel, and she had a bunch of work to do. She worked a little bit on the road, and she had gotten a few calls and stuff. And, this is what we had planned to do. So I went on an adventure with Mark, leaving the restaurant there, and then just going up. And the area was Edwards, I think. So right next to the Vale. And we just parked the car, and all of a sudden we go up straight up the mountain. This was called Predator Hill. This is what he calls it.
Predator Hill?
Predator Hill.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically about 5 miles going up on an angle like this. So brutal. So when we got to the first clearing, they were doing a lot of clear cut on one side, so it really made us kind of angry, saying, they cleared this whole one side of a mountain, just, no trees anymore,
Yeah.
So we went to kind of the east side of it, go up the hill, and this structure start. And of course, I think I have some pictures here.
I was going to ask you, how did Mark start deciding where in these mountains to start exploring, to find these evidences of
Yeah, it started
Bigfoot?
for him a couple of years ago when he was watching some other people, and he says, heck, I'm in the mountains here. If this thing exists, and he was really a skeptic before, he says, if this exists, it's got to be right here. So he started exploring certain areas and started seeing, and nobody at that time was really talking about any type of structures. And this is what we go out to find. Of course, we're not going to go out and look for a Bigfoot. That's like going out looking for a bear. You're not going to find any. And we didn't find any bear. We saw a couple of mule deer and a couple of other things, and some small marmots and things like that. Mostly while we're driving. Once you get in the woods and you start stomping around, those animals are gone.
Yeah, they hear you coming.
They hear you coming.
Right.
And I'll tell you, it's pretty brutal. On this, I have...
Now, what was the temperature like when you're up on this hill?
It's in the 50s, I would say.
Right, so you got a jacket on.
Yeah.
Long sleeve.
So these are just a bunch of pictures that he puts together, and I think it's running, so it'll just go through a bunch of them. Of course, we see the X's. That's one of the first things you'll always see.
And, again, a lot of people will say, well, trees fall.
Yeah.
So tell us what the answer to that is.
Well, you can see this stump right here. It's sitting on top of it. So the tree fell and put itself right on top of that stump. And you see that over and over and over again. A lot of these trees are leaning on another tree. They're also mangled in between trees. So you see all these bends and everything like that. So they're bent between trees. You can't, when you go up and shake that tree, you can't move the tree.
Right.
Even the ones on the ground are all touching.
And for the listeners, we need to explain. It's not like you see tons of roots on these trees. It's like
There's no roots.
There's no roots.
In fact, a lot of the trees that are in here are different trees. They didn't grow there. They had to be carried in. And you can see this is just massive arrangement, and they're all intertwined. You can walk on these things. That's how intertwined. You cannot move them. They're just wedged in there. And then you see stuff on the ground, just piled. Kind of human-like we would pile it, but you notice it, they're all broken. None of them are cut. And humans don't do this. We're going to build a campfire when we have wood. There's no campfires out here. This is way, way up where nobody goes. We went 5 miles straight up the mountain. We were 8 hours on the mountain.
Right.
It's brutal. The hardest workout I've probably ever done. It's amazing. He talks about it in the videos.
Yeah, it was people commenting on your Facebook page just how amazing you are.
It's mind-boggling. We'll go into this a little bit more.
But this is crucial, guys. What we're talking about is a lot of these trees that are in a forest area didn't grow there, so they had to get there.
Anyway, we'll be right back, folks. Stick around. You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Will the S&P 500 continue to climb? For bold trades on U.S. large-cap stocks in either direction, trade SPXL, SPUU, or SPXS. Directions Daily S&P 500 Bull and Bear Leveraged ETFs. Direction Leveraged ETFs. An investor should carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risks, charges, and expenses before investing. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a fund's prospectus and summary prospectus, call 866-476-7523 or visit directioninvestments.com. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Nico and Paige take your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And welcome back. So let's continue this little video.
This video, you call it Sasquatch Birthing Den.
Yeah, and many Bigfoot seats. You can see where has his stick. This is what we think are where the Bigfoot sit, because everywhere else is where it's green.
Right.
So this is where a lot of activity is. A lot of places you can actually see like a super highway. There's this trail going through, and it's almost like a highway. Sometimes it even has sticks on each side, kind of like
like they're defining their walkway.
Like, kind of like that.
I gotcha. Yeah, like they're defining, okay, this is a walkway.
Yeah, so they do things, it seemed to do things like that. So we're going up this hill, about 3 hours in, we start hearing things like wood knocks and creaking and scurrying around. Of course, you can't see it. Look at that X there.
Oh, wow.
I'm 6 foot tall. That to the middle of the X is about 30 feet. So this thing is probably 50, 60 feet tall. So you've probably got 100 foot of tree there. Mm-hmm. So how do you move a tree like that? And if you look at the end of it, it's actually stuck in the ground.
Right.
And about 8 inches into the ground. So it's really shoved in there so it won't move.
And it's probably a tree that didn't grow right there.
It's a tree probably that didn't grow there. A lot of them are the aspen trees, and we're in the pine area. But
Right.
they do get mixed up, and they mess with the pine. But pine is a little bit harder. You just got all those needles on it. There's another X. X is all over the place. Usually the X's follow a perimeter. So when you're in the center there, you see X's all around. You see X's on the ground. If you take some skewers and pick up sticks or something like that and throw them 1,000 times, very seldom do you get an X.
And I want to say that this makes me think that whoever's doing this has some sense about quantum energy and the power of pyramid and triangles.
Seems like they do make a lot of triangles.
And so, what's old is new.
Yeah, now Perter Hill, he hasn't been on here for a year, and he says there's so much that changed. This particular area we're here was about a quarter of it was there, so about 3/4 of it more was added in this last year. Doesn't go here very often because it's such a brutal climb. He's only done it 3 times.
And of course he did it with you.
Yeah, he did it with me. He asked me in the beginning, he says, what are you up for? Because, he says, Bigfoot universe, and the other area that he wanted to take me to, and we were planning on doing some night visit there because it's accessible by car, and you can just kind of walk in a half a mile and
What's that
you're
in the
there.
background? Is that houses?
Yeah, those are houses way down there, about 2 miles down, you can see. This is kind of like on the edge of the forest. You can't see it when you're coming up the mountain. You can only see it when it's there. And it's been there for a while. It's in different configurations. It's just kind of piles of wood. But you see all those little sticks? That's on every pile. Every pile has little sticks like that sticking up.
Well, and I feel, again, like there's some type of energetic reason they do that.
But, you know, who knows whether they do it. They do it, though. I mean, something's doing it
It's
up
a
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he's saying we're 5:30. We started at 10 a.m., so we're still on top of the mountain at this point, and we're starting our way down. We started all the way to that other way on the left, and went a big U like a horseshoe
Wow.
through the whole thing, and it was just the most brutal exercise I've ever done, I think, at this particular one. I did it, so that was pretty cool. He talks about it a little bit on that on the video. Talking about that very few people he could bring up here because they just couldn't make
Yeah,
it,
and
you know.
very few people are your age, no offense, but,
yeah.
you know, let's just
Yeah.
be real.
Yeah, so
And it's pretty impressive.
yeah, pretty cool. So that was the whole day, and then we were exhausted, of course, and we were going back to Eagle.
But you slept like a baby that night.
Oh yeah, we went back to Eagle, and we found this brewery that David and I and him visited last year, and I texted Ellen to meet us there, and she did. We had dinner there.
Well,
and
there
had
you
a
go.
few
There,
beers.
that's a pretty interesting little shelter there.
Yeah,
Looks
it's
like.
kind of like a little bit of a shelter, almost, you know, not like a shelter we would build. And if we would build a shelter, we wouldn't build it like that. You can see the interweaving that's going on in there.
Right.
Also, there's no fire pit. You know,
Yeah.
humans build a shelter, they build a fire. And that's one of the things. And you can see how intricate this is all weaved. You can't budge those things. They're weaved in there somehow, so you can't.
That
And then
kind of
you
looks like someone could slide in there and sleep and feel
Yeah, maybe so.
safe.
I don't know. But you can see more of the same thing over and over and over again. And this was 10 miles of this altogether. Huge area, very active. They only really became active when we started leaving. That's when we could hear more of the knocks and more of the hoots and things like that, and more of the scaring. You could feel them there. A couple of times, you know, the hairs were standing on edge like somebody's watching you. Never any threats or anything like that.
So
and
describe the hoots. What do you mean? Like you just...
just like, ooh, 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 like almost monkey-like in a sense. A lot of times, little whistles. I can't do it, but you know, all kinds of stuff, and you could hear things moving around, of course. And kind of like they were kind of following you from maybe 30 meters back or something like that. You know, I
Curious
don't know.
about what you guys are doing.
Yeah, it seems like they might like to watch us too, so that was kind of cool. The second day, we went into a different area, and it was actually a nice little road trip because Ellen, this was her first time, and we really didn't have any problem with the altitude. We took lots of the amino acids and Primal Edge, and I think that really helped us a lot. So the second area, we drove into this area, and it was about maybe a 20-minute drive all around, really high altitude on these forest roads. And we kind of just went into little areas. And that was really cool because let's see if I can make this bigger. I don't know if I can. I can't seem to. But if you see this particular picture, maybe I can get a close-up of it. Yeah. So this was sitting on the side of the road. Just like that. One rock on top of another, and we think this looks like a Sasquatch head. Cone-shaped head, a little eye here, kind of blunted nose. Here's the mouth here, little part of the neck here. So that we thought. So we said, well, let's go down the mountain and take a look at it. So we went down the mountain, and we found a whole bunch of different areas, just all kinds of different, I don't know if it's on here or not. I guess not.
That kind of reminds me of when you lay down and you look at clouds and you see shapes in clouds.
Yeah. So this is what we found down the mountain, so all these little areas. And he thought the way this looked, and especially inside here, and I can't seem to get this picture up, but what it was looked like 2 seats that were really huge like this, and on each side, and then just over that was a small little seat. And he says, this has got to be a birthing place. He says, springtime, most animals birth, and he thinks this was a birthing place, and he thinks the signal was that headstone.
I got
that we
you.
saw. So,
Here comes the new baby.
Yeah, here comes the new baby. So that's, and that's his philosophy, and maybe so, it makes sense from a human.
Sometimes our thoughts are our intuitions.
Yeah. So, and we were darting in and out, maybe a dozen times, and this was just perfect for Ellen. It was, you had to always drop off the road into kind of a ravine, and that's kind of strenuous and stuff. But she did really well, really proud of her, and she experienced this, and she's right in the camp with him as far as they're almost invisible, it seems like, and I'm not in that camp at all. Maybe they go between dimensions. I don't.
That's kind of an interesting point that you said, since it's from a time before, is time really time? Well, we know there's no time. It could be dimensionality stuff.
Yeah.
And we can't see him,
I'm not in that camp, but I mean, it's interesting. Anyway, we'll go on with this for the rest of the trip, and I'll be right back,
Cool
folks,
stuff.
with my pal here.
I like it.
Would like to tell you about the personal training studio that Nico is the owner and president of, Performance Training. Since 1998, Nico has trained individuals and groups to improve their health both mentally and physically. As a certified personal trainer, Nico's main focus is on demonstrating exercises correctly to avoid injury and teaching his clients how to manage their past injuries while getting the most out of their personal training sessions. The Performance Training Studio is filled with unique training equipment that enhances balanced results at a faster rate while minimizing damage and discomfort. For more information, you can give Nico a call at 727-418-8740 or email him at nico@tfnn.com. Let him know you heard him on TFNN and save up to $100 on a special package just for TFNN listeners. Act today.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com.
Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
So we were on on our second day hike with Ellen, and we did that whole 21-mile thing and went in and out of the woods several times and saw just amazing structures. It's, you know, when we're driving along the road, leaving there too, we were just looking off the side of the road anywhere Ellen and I went, and we could see little lanes here and there.
Because you know what you're looking for, but
Because
how
now-
many people drive away and just don't even realize it?
You wouldn't think anything of it, and most of it's a little bit hidden because it's a little obscure, hidden with other trees, and you have to have this right angle just to see it, and then when you get close up to it, of course, you see the whole magnificent thing. But so we left there on, let's see, Thursday morning, real early. It was about maybe a 3.5-hour drive down to Ouray. And I had been looking at the different passes because I have a 4-wheel drive FJ Cruiser, got it all set up to do off-road, a little lift, a lot of armor underneath. I got a winch in front, so in case I'm alone, I can still get myself out of trouble. So we had decided we were going to do one of the passes. Ellen has never experienced that. I've done some high-altitude passes in Colorado before, so I'm pretty experienced four-wheeling. Done it for many years. I used to have an old International Scout in the old days in the 60s and 70s. So it's been in my blood, and my whole family really loves to do that, my son and my daughters and stuff. So I had planned, I figured I was going to do an easy pass, which was the Ophir Pass south of Telluride, and it crosses between two roads. Telluride is kind of in the middle of the mountains, very hard to get to.
Yes, it is.
There's only one road to get to it, and then the other ones are strictly mountain passes. Well, the fires are near Durango and all kinds of smoke. They closed the 550, which was the leading to the Ophir Pass, so I couldn't take that. Then I was looking at Black Bear, that was still closed. So all of a sudden I said, I saw a little post on one of the sites that said somebody went all the way up to the Imagina Pass, which is one of the highest passes. It's 17.5 miles, takes about 3 to 4 hours to traverse, so it's really high altitude. I'll show you some video of that. And so I called the ranger station. I said, you know, I heard people are going to the top. From both sides, is the pass open? He says, you know, funny you should mention. He says, I just got a call within 10 minutes ago, said the pass opened.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that was
So
divine.
then I said, oh my God, I said, this is, it's labeled as a moderate. Some pages even has it extreme. So I thought, my wife, so I says, you know, this is going to be a high mountain pass. Do you want to go? She says, sure, we'll do it. So we drove to Ouray, had a little lunch, got a couple of maps, and we hit the trail. And we started going through this pass, not really well marked. Luckily, we saw some other people there, and they kind of steered us in the right direction. A couple of signs were turned the wrong way. We went down one way wrong, but got back all right with the help of somebody, and then finally saw the correct signs and went up. When we got to the top, this is kind of a 360 of the way it looked, and this is a very top of the mountain.
Wow.
13,000 some hundred feet. Now I videotaped the whole sequence, so it's going to take me a while to do that, and I'll have that later on. But I thought it would be interesting just to see that part of it.
Absolutely.
I don't know if we can get anything else here. Let's see. I got some more pictures, I think. If I just can find the video. So here's another photo from the very top. Imagine Pass, proof we were there, always good to have. View from the top of the mountain. Then we saw this old FJ. This is kind of the grandfather of my truck, modernized. Then we took a gondola ride. And
Look at those
this is the view
heavy
from
clouds.
the gondola. Yeah, I don't think these will load. Computer's a little slow, but you get the drift. This is the type of vehicle I have right there. as you see. So, gondola ride. You know, once we were there, we were actually only there for one day in Telluride because we had to leave Saturday morning. So Friday was the day. We arrived Thursday about 6 p.m. By the time we got off the mountain, checked into the new Sheraton Hotel, which is right smack downtown in the middle of everything. We were kind of between two festivals. There was a festival before, and they were coming into town was the Bluegrass Festival, and they said there was going to be 15,000 people there. Usually 2,000 people in Telluride.
Right.
So they say they always run out of food and everything, and people are doing all kinds of weird things in the streets.
I've always wanted to go there, never have though.
Oh, it's
They
just
say
something. It's something to behold. It's beautiful. It's serene. It's gorgeous. The
Cute
sights.
town.
Oh yeah, a wonderful little cow town type of thing. Not many people. It's you know, all the locals are there, and that's what we saw. So that was kind of nice. Instead of we didn't want to be there when. So it was actually perfect timing. I thought, you know, when I was booking it, I thought, well, it'd be good Bluegrass Festival. I would love that. I love the music, you know.
Sure.
But thinking it now, that definitely something we don't want to be there during that time. So then we kind of hit the road Saturday morning, and you know, Ellen had to be back on Monday for a meeting at 3 o'clock for Habitat of Humanity. She's on the board, very important for her. So I thought, well, you know, we have to leave now, and we can stop halfway. But then as we got going, I kept thinking more and more that maybe we should just boogie, you know, and that's what we did. We just hit the road, and we kept on going. I drove, I think we got back on 4 o'clock on Monday.
So you drove how many hours straight?
Sunday. 32 hours, I guess it was.
And would you guys alternate?
No, I just drove.
Jeez, you're
Yeah.
something else.
I've done this ever since I was driving. Just I can go for long periods and just have a little coffee, a little stimulation, and I'm fine. And it just kept working. And
I should have told you, you know, Dr. Marshall always taught us that colostrum is like having 5 cups of coffee when you're on a long drive.
Yeah.
Boosts the immune system.
Yeah.
And I should have.
Yeah, well, I
told
did, you know, I had a couple of these coffee drinks with collagen and things like that, and other things that helped me stay up. We tried some CBDs while we were out there, the first time I'd ever experienced that. And I tell you, we got this little bottle, dropper, $150 CBDs, are not cheap. But a little drop under the tongue makes you relax. Don't get high.
No.
Just kind of makes you a little relax and feel really good. I mean, nothing was aching. It was amazing after that day in the mountains. I really, you know, the next day I was fine. We're walking around. I could feel the altitude a little bit because of the exertion. But as long as you take your time and just take those slower steps instead of just boogieing up the mountain, you're all right, I find. And, you know, it was... this is the second time I did this, you know, with Mark. And
I think it's super, and you've established that friendship, and you've got this connection. And
very nice friendship with Mark. I love the guy dearly. You know, he's great because he talks a lot. And for this, it's actually really good. He has ADD, he admits it, and he just can't stop talking. And for this, because he shows you things.
But he's entertaining.
It's very entertaining. Some people, and when you're tired, it's hard, because I don't talk a lot anyway. You know, maybe on this show too much, but you know, I really did enjoy the bonding with him, and then of course with my wife, and the whole experience of being in Telluride, and we went the eating there. We'll talk about that next.
Ooh, some yummy food.
Yeah,
okay, we'll be right back after this break.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
No matter what kind of trader you are, 2018 is a great time to try out a subscription to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report. Whether you just plan on diversifying your portfolio with some exposure to gold and gold mining equities, or you're a gold bull that sees 2018 as the year of commodities, now is a great time to sign up for the Gold Report. Tom O'Brien publishes his Gold Report every Monday morning before the market opens and covers a variety of topics including gold, silver, platinum, copper, the XAU and HUI, the dollar, bonds, South African rand, as well as more than 20 of the most actively traded mining equities. Start your 2018 off with a bang and sign up for the Gold Report today. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. For all the details and to start your subscription right now, visit the front page of TFNN.com and you'll find the Gold Report under Investment Newsletters. David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
And welcome back to the show. So,
Talk about food, you said.
Yeah, before we do that, I want people to go to Colorado Bigfoot page on YouTube. You just hit Colorado Bigfoot, hit the videos, and the first 4 videos. It looks like 5 videos.
It's the
5 videos.
Look how many people have looked at them. Yeah, like 2,600 just 4 days ago.
I get a lot of correspondence from this. So this is actually the first day right here, and this first day, most of it also. This is the second day.
And it may be X marks the spot. They're trying to send the message. This is our spot.
It's possible. It may be that each territory has their own little area, and this is how they mark it. Could be a stay away thing. Don't come here. I don't know. You know, the stay away for me is the big piles. They usually have 3 big trees about this big around, piled on top of each other, wedged between. They put the short sticks up. Just like a corral type of thing.
Right.
And you see that, and you go in there, and there's all kinds of things that you would say were sitting there, and the whole area is like the ground is all disturbed. There's nothing growing there, where every place else, everything is growing.
So it's obvious that something's gathering there.
Yeah,
Someone.
Another unique thing, with all this wood on the ground, if you touch the wood, you'll find it warm, which is very interesting. Maybe they're trying to warm up that area. You know, because the trees give off. Well, as they decay, they heat up.
That's right.
So it's interesting. Anyway, the food, that was incredible. I mean, once we got to Eagle, the restaurants there, I mean, all the restaurants there were mostly grass-fed everything.
Right, because
all the meats were grass-fed.
Sustainable.
And local, and bison, and elk. In Telluride, I had a buffalo ribeye with the bone in. 16 ounces. It was incredible. So there was probably 10 ounces of meat there that I ate. And I couldn't stop eating. It was so good. Better than any ribeye I ever had before. The day before that, I had the psoas mussel, what do they call that? The round little loin.
The loin.
Yeah, the loin. So they had a big center cut loin of elk. Hadn't had elk before. Had deer, venison, and things like that, but elk very delicious. Melts in your mouth.
Wow. Yeah, I've never had it myself.
Yeah, and it's not very fatty, but the fat is actually intertwined in the fibers of the muscle. There's no side, like on domestic animals, there's really no side. It seems like the wild animals have either a pocket where they store the fat, like a buffalo does.
Oh, that's or like the emu, right?
Or like the emu, yeah. Or they have a very thin layer around things, not like you see with a ribeye. If you buy a ribeye from a cow, you can see that big outline where they fattened it up. Even in the grass-fed, you can almost see that. But in these, there was none of that. But yeah, the food was tremendous. So the water, crystal clear, of course. Everybody, in the tables there, everybody just gave you a huge glass of crystal clear. It's almost like it came down from the glacier itself. It was
I
so
know.
good.
Anytime you're in the mountains, and I told you next month I'll be going to Austria, well, actually Switzerland, and then we're going to go through the lake country. I haven't mapped it out exactly yet, but probably Lake Lucerne and maybe Lake Como and Lago di Garda, which is actually in Italy, and then shoot back
Great
up to
forest
Austria.
there. On YouTube, I watch a girl named Survival Lily. And she's from Austria, and she goes in the forest in Austria, and she always talks about how to survive in the wild. So she teaches you how to build little shelters, lean-tos. She shows you how to cook things. She shows you how to catch crabs and shows you how to catch worms and what to eat in the woods. It's very interesting, very educational site, and I highly recommend her because she simplifies everything. Usually about 20 minutes.
Survival Lily.
Survival Lily. Yeah,
Oh, how cool is
she's a
that?
great gal, and she's cute, and she's always getting proposals of marriage. I want to, because she knows how to take care of it. Exactly.
And
She knows
that's
how to take
attractive.
Of course it is.
Yeah, when you see someone who's like being part of it. I actually found this site. I'm trying to find it, Nico. I don't think it's on here, but I want to send it to you. It's a guy who actually, I think he distributes wool sleeping bags, but he's
really?
got an adventure, a blog post that he's going to go through the adventure, and he talks about, getting the sunlight, ditching sunglasses, blocking the artificial light, but of course he's in the wild. And I found it last night, and I think I sent it to my kids, because, Austin's having so much fun out in Tahoe hiking, and, he takes his dog with him, but...
yeah, I should send him a couple of these things so he can see what to look for.
Yeah,
definitely.
exactly, because he's out there.
Yeah.
And I think that's,
Well, the food is really important, and I'm seeing that part of the nation, kind of like, even more so than California, is really, everybody's eating really well out there. And you can see it, of course, when you're living out there, you're most of the time active. It was funny because at the wedding, we found out one of Ellen's cousin's sons lives out in Eagle.
Oh.
And we had no clue. So, I mean, last night we were there, Wednesday night, we called them up and we had dinner over at their house. And they said, any preferences in food? We said, well, no pasta, no bread. And they fixed some T-bone steaks. It was fabulous.
Oh, that's
And,
wonderful.
yeah, it was nice to bond with them. He was, the last time I saw him was, he was probably 14. I think it was his bar mitzvah or something like that we went to. So it's been a long time since I've talked to him, and now he's an adult with a baby and wife. And
That's got to be the weird thing when you reconnect with family. And
it's nice it's because you see the growth and you see the maturity from a 14-year-old to a 24-year-old. Huge difference, I mean, you're at
the
different...
last time you saw him, yeah.
Yeah, so that was kind of cool too. So, yeah, it's so important to get away, and I think as I'm getting older now, I really do see the value of a 2-week vacation instead of just the 1 week. So we're going to start working in those 2 weeks instead of the 1 week.
Because you really get that disconnection, and this is the season to vacation and get away, and everyone's doing these kind of things, and you went, and I'm going to be going. Speaking of that, I don't know if you can pull it up, Nico, but in our Instapaper, we brought up this article. Maybe it might be just a minute to sort of introduce this, because did you grab that one yet about maybe not? Maybe we can bring it up on the next break. But it was about the power of doing nothing.
Yes.
And I think that
do like
vacation gives you that opportunity, and yet I think there's a vein of an idea that goes through that unless you're busy, you're not being valuable.
Well,
And I hate that.
remember the story of the white man who saw the Shoshone Indians just laying around. in the afternoon, and just saying these people are lazy. They have nothing to do. They should be working and fixing things. Of course, their philosophy is, we have food and we have shelter and everything's good, so let's take it easy. Mm-hmm. And that's that article that you're talking about that I have up now. It's really, really important.
Why doing nothing is one of the most important things you can do. I posted, this really hit me because I've been trying to figure out my schedule, and it's going to be kind of busy. I have a lot of little ventures planned this next few months, and yet a lot of it is just to be in nature.
Being in nature, being alone, perhaps for just an hour or two, they're very important things to do. And on this vacation, I was not doing nothing, but it's almost like doing nothing because you're not.
Well, you're not taking out the trash. You're not, balancing the checkbook. You're not opening a business. You're not going and locking something up. You're not driving in the traffic and listening to news rattling your consciousness.
Yeah,
I like it.
We'll be right back, folks. We got one more segment coming up. So
yeah, we're
going to
do that. That's a little something.
I'm certain you are or strive to be one of the best at everything you do in life. It's the most common trait that we tigers and tigresses share. If you're looking to become the best of the best when it comes to managing your money, let me teach you to do what most wealth managers tell you can't be done, which is how to time the markets. I'm Steve Rhodes, author of Mastering Probability, and for the last 12 months, Timer Digest has been tracking my newsletter signals, which have earned me the ranking as their #1 market timer in the nation for the S&P 500 for the last 12, 6, and 3 months. Timer Digest also ranks me as the #1 market timer for gold as well. The fact is, markets can be timed, and I'll teach you the exact set of tools that I use that has transformed me into one of the best at what I do. Sign up for Mastering Probability today by clicking on the newsletter tab on the homepage of TFNN.com and get immediate access to workshops where I take you step by step how to use an extraordinary set of tools as well as provide great market calls too. Sign up today.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get 'em, folks.
No matter where you're listening to TFNN programming, you can always access your favorite shows on demand through TFNN.com. TFNN airs live programming every market day from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. Eastern, and you can view each program by accessing Tiger TV through our homepage. We even have an easy link for all mobile devices, including iPhones, iPads, and Android devices, located in the top right-hand corner of the TFNN homepage. You can use your smartphone to view Tiger TV, but if you don't have a connection that can keep up with streaming live video, then you can simply visit TFNN.mobi in the browser of your smartphone for live streaming audio of all our programs. The mission of TFNN is to educate our audience directly and interactively through our interactive website and call-in talk shows. TFNN is able to teach all levels of investors the technical skills needed to trade in today's marketplace. In order to get the best information possible, TFNN has assembled the most respected financial minds in the country to provide the most current news and comprehensive advice available. TFNN.com, educating investors.
And welcome back. In our last segment, we're talking about why doing nothing is one of the most important things you can do. And I'm all for this for sure. I always was into being alone. I'm very, very comfortable being alone. I don't need people around me. Of course, after a while, then you start seeking out some company. But I think it's important to be comfortable in your own skin without a lot of distractions around. So
I can entertain myself as well.
yeah. And it's not just the entertainment, though. It's also just the fact of being still.
Being still.
Emptying the mind. Not, I mean, yeah, you can go home and think and daydream and things like that, but the real benefit, I think, is when you empty the mind and you just let things happen, and then you're one of the people that see things.
Well, let's share this because I think there's some valuable information in this last section. This was written by Brian O'Connor. He's a professor of philosophy at the University College in Dublin and the author of Idleness, a philosophical essay. And he says, from the age of enlightenment on, when philosophers, political leaders, and moral authorities of many kind have tried to convince us that work is one of the most important opportunities for freedom.
Yeah, through work we become somebody. We relish the esteem we gain, structure our lives, and we were at it, contribute nobly to the common good. This is a strange brew of ideas, he says, but one has seeped deeper into our psyche more than we realize. And this is really important to think because they have really turned it on us.
This whole social media thing, we develop a craving for recognition that is rarely satisfied. How many people go and post something and then they're like, I only got 2 likes, you know, or I didn't get 50 likes.
That's one of the things I don't like about Facebook is that it promotes that selfishness. This is exactly the opposite. We need to be able to have self-satisfaction. We need to have a sense of well-being for ourselves, being alone, to center ourselves. I think it's an important thing.
I agree,
Leisure
Nico.
today for many people is a glimpse of what it would be like to do nothing for more than a few hours. It is, or at least it used to be, downtown, lazying away, forgetting the brothers of the workplace.
Bothers.
The bothers.
Yeah.
We use our allowance of paid vacation to recharge the batteries, etc. And it did recharge me. It definitely, it also gives me a time to think, okay, so when I get back, what am I going to be doing next? What am I going to be doing now? How can I improve my personal training business? How can I improve living a primal lifestyle with you? And how I can improve my relationship with my wife? And how we can improve our home and our settings so we can be safe?
You get some time for reflection.
Yes.
Because this is what we say, and this is how many want it to be. I have a yearning for doing nothing, but yet I feel very productive, and my thought of that, doing nothing at all, the thought goes, is good up to a point, but overdoing nothing is boring, some people say. In that light, moderate work practices look just right. So really, the whole idea, though, is that by doing, you went on vacation, and I'm not saying you didn't do nothing, you did something, but you disconnected from the things that
That's your normal life. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that claw at you.
That routine that's over and over again, kind of in servitude. I'm not in servitude to anybody particularly because it's our choice to do some work because we need money to get the food. So that's the difference. You know, our hunter and gatherer forefathers actually got the food and actually built the shelter. We have other people do these for it. I don't know if it's a better system or not. I don't think so because of all the time it takes. When we're working 8 or 10 hours, and we work in America much longer than most of the industrial world. In Europe,
most people in Europe just cannot believe that we only get 2 weeks paid vacation. They get 6.
Yeah.
And many mothers get and fathers will get paternal and maternal
3
leave.
months to 6 months.
Yeah.
Yep.
So great philosophers have argued that we have nothing to learn from the way of life that exists outside the busy world of Western civilization. But think about people like Weston A. Price, who spent, or Broda Barnes, the doctor of thyroid medicine, who spent their summers. He did autopsies. Weston Price went and studied cultures. They learned from people who had a simple life.
Yeah.
So maybe
domestication, not civilization.
That's right. Yeah, there you go.
Thanks for sticking around, folks.
Have a great
thanks
day.
for joining the vacation with me. So
Yeah, it was
really
good
appreciate
stuff.
it. Thanks a lot.
See you guys.
See you next time. Bye.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
You're watching Tiger TV.